wrong with her? This girl's supposed to be your best friend. See? This how you doing your best friend. But you did this same shit to me, so I didn't know if she was lying or telling the truth. Because I know she lied on me.
It started like any other glamorous evening. A high-profile event, music echoing through the heart of Atlanta, VIP guests, champagne, the glitter of a lifestyle built on fame, talent, and years of admiration. Tiny, a woman millions adored, a mother, a legend in her own right. The same Tiny who helped shape R&B's golden years, the same Tiny who people looked at as strength, elegance, and loyalty, but what began as celebration turned into tragedy. Somewhere between laughter and music, a spark ignited. A misunderstanding, a moment of tension, something that spiraled too fast for anyone to stop. Cameras were already rolling, phones up, lenses open. And within minutes, the night that should have been remembered for glamour became a digital storm, one that would rip through timelines and tear reputations apart. The footage appeared online at 11:46 p.m. A short clip, blurry at first, then horrifyingly clear. Tiny, Shekinah. A confrontation no one expected to see. In seconds, hashtags exploded. Tiny arrested. Shekinah attacked. Sent Atlanta nightmare. Social media turned into a wildfire. Twitter flooded with disbelief. Instagram Reels replayed the moment again and again. TikTok turned Heartbreak into trending sound bites. Millions of people who once cheered Tiny's name now froze in silence, trying to make sense of what they were watching. Some said it was self-defense. Others swore it was aggression. But one thing was certain, the world had turned its eyes toward Atlanta, and the cameras wouldn't look away. As police lights painted the streets in red and blue, the city's heartbeat slowed. Outside the nightclub, chaos unfolded. Tiny stepped out of her sleek black SUV, her gown shimmering under the neon glare, but the glow couldn't hide the tremor in her hands, the fear in her eyes, the silent tears that defied the flashing cameras. Paparazzi shouted her name. Reporters demanded answers. Security struggled to push back the storm of lenses and voices. And through it all, Tiny stood still, trapped between fame and fate. Moments later, the handcuffs clicked, a sound so small, yet deafening in its symbolism. Fans who once idolized her now watched in disbelief as one of Atlanta's brightest stars was led away under the relentless flash of 1,000 cameras. Every photo told the same story, a woman shattered by the weight of the world's judgment. Online, the reactions were instant and brutal. Tiny would never. She deserves it. Shekinah needs justice. She's being set up. The digital battlefield had no mercy. Fans clashed in the comments. Celebrities dropped cryptic tweets. Podcasters rushed to dissect every second of the viral footage. Memes, reactions, edits. The situation became entertainment. A tragedy turned into clicks. But beneath the noise, there was heartbreak. People who grew up listening to Tiny's music felt betrayed. Others saw only a human being falling apart in real time. And some just couldn't believe how quickly love can turn to condemnation when the internet smells blood. Hours after the footage broke, journalists reached the scene. Inside the once lively club, silence ruled. Tables overturned, champagne bottles shattered. The smell of spilled drinks and fear hung heavy in the air. Witnesses whispered in disbelief. Some cried openly. Others avoided cameras, afraid their faces might end up online. For many, it was the first time they'd seen the price of fame up close, not the red carpets, not the glitz, but the fallout, the chaos, the confusion, the reality that behind every viral clip, there are people broken, scared, and bleeding behind the spotlight. As dawn approached, Tiny sat inside the police station, her eyes red, her voice trembling, her hands shaking as reality settled in. No cameras, no glam, no entourage, just silence. The kind of silence that crushes you from the inside out. Every sound, a door closing, a whisper between officers felt like a reminder that her life was no longer her own. Outside, fans still gathered near the station. Some prayed, some shouted. Some just stood there, unable to process what had happened. It wasn't just a celebrity scandal anymore. It had become something deeper. A reflection of how fast the world builds idols and how faster it tears them down. By sunrise, theories filled the internet like smoke. And was it a setup? Was the footage edited? Was someone trying to destroy her career? Bloggers claimed to have inside sources. Screenshots circulated. Fake DMs, doctored clips, and anonymous posts only fueled the chaos. Everyone had an opinion. No one had the truth. But that's the world we live in now, where perception is reality and clicks outweigh compassion. Even those who knew Tiny personally stayed quiet. The industry went silent, the same way it always does when the fire gets too hot. Because in Hollywood, silence isn't protection, it's survival. Families watch the footage from their living rooms, unable to look away. Parents whispered to their kids about fame, empathy, and judgment. Fans cried openly online, their comments reading like digital prayers. "I can't believe this. She doesn't deserve this. How can the world be so cruel?" And somewhere in that sea of emotion, one truth echoed: Tiny wasn't just another headline. She was a human being caught in a moment too big to contain. The internet doesn't forgive, and it never forgets, but it also doesn't stop watching. Every clip, every angle, every replay, a constant reminder that her lowest moment had become public property. Atlanta, the city that raised her, felt different that night. The skyline still glowed, but it felt colder. The streets buzzed with whispers and news alerts. Even the nightlife, usually pulsing with confidence, seemed haunted by what had unfolded. Outside the club, people gathered where it all happened. They took pictures, lit candles, left notes. It wasn't just mourning, it was confusion, disbelief, sorrow, all blending into one long sleepless night. And amid the chaos, one question kept repeating: how did we get here? How did a night meant for celebration become one that tore through reputations and broke hearts worldwide? By the next morning, every major outlet had the story. Breaking news segments ran back to back. Talk shows brought in experts. YouTubers posted reaction videos within hours, racking up millions of views. It was content now, pain packaged for profit. Tragedy turned into trending. No one cared about the full story, only the most shocking angle. Tiny's mugshot became the image of the day. Her tears became thumbnails. Her heartbreak became hashtags. And behind all that noise, she sat in silence, watching her life unravel through the screens of people she'd never met. This moment wasn't just about Tiny. It was about everyone who's ever lived under the light of fame. Because when the world loves you, it loves the idea of you, not the real you. And when that illusion cracks, the same hands that lifted you up will point, mock, and record your fall. The cameras don't turn off when you break down. The comments don't stop when you cry. And the world doesn't pause for you to explain. That's the price of visibility. A life lived with no room for mistakes, no space for pain, and no privacy when it all comes crashing down. In homes across the country, fans kept replaying the video. Some said they couldn't sleep. Others said it reminded them of how fragile people really are. The story became more than gossip. It became a mirror reflecting how society treats pain as entertainment. The louder the chaos, the quieter empathy becomes. The faster the shares, the slower compassion fades. And while millions debated online, one truth cut through the noise. Tiny's tears were real. Her fear was real. Her collapse in front of the cameras painfully, brutally real. Hours turned into days. The hashtag started to fade, but the damage remained. Reputation fractured. Trust shattered. A lifetime of hard work questioned in a single viral night. Inside that cell, Tiny was more than a celebrity. She was a woman carrying the weight of a world that demands perfection but thrives on mistakes. And as the city moved on, her silence spoke volumes. Not denial, not confession, just exhaustion, the kind that only comes when your name becomes a battlefield. We live in an era where suffering sells, where tears get monetized, where heartbreak becomes algorithmic fuel. Tiny's tragedy wasn't the first, and it won't be the last. Because every viral story follows the same pattern. Shock, judgment, mockery, then silence. But the people in those stories, they don't get silence. They get trauma replayed forever. Their worst moments live online long after the hashtags die. It's not justice. It's spectacle. And the more the world watches, the less it feels. Maybe that's the real story here. Not the fight, not the arrest, but what it says about us. How quickly we judge. How easily we consume pain. How rarely we stop to ask what's real. Tiny's story is a cautionary tale about what happens when fame collides with vulnerability, when humanity gets lost between headlines and hashtags. Because the truth isn't in the footage, it's in the silence that follows. In the eyes of a woman who gave everything only to watch the world take it all back. As the night gives way to morning, Atlanta still feels the echoes of what happened. The flashing lights have faded. The sirens are gone, but the memory remains heavy, haunting, unforgettable. Tiny, the artist, the mother, the icon, now becomes a symbol of how fragile fame truly is. And while the world scrolls past, searching for the next viral moment, her story lingers. A reminder that behind every trending topic is a real person breathing, breaking, and trying to survive under a light that never turns off. Maybe someday the truth will come out. Maybe people will look back and remember her not for that one night, but for everything she built before it. Until then, her story stands as a mirror, a reflection of a culture that glorifies pain, feeds on downfall, and forgets that even stars can cry. Music fades to silence. Narrator: this was Atlanta's darkest night. Tiny's story isn't just a scandal, it's a tragedy, one that reminds us all, behind every viral headline there's a heartbeat, and sometimes it's breaking.